guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm Kristen, and today I'm sharing some amazing finds at Michael's that you just might walk right past. I'm also going to show you how to create some amazing DIYs and home decor for your home with Michael's items. So let's get into the video. The first thing I decided to pick up was this $3.99 sign, and anytime anything is full price, they always have a 20% off coupon you can use at Michael's. So I'm going to be using this Rust-Oleum satin spray paint in this moss green. I love moss green. I use the Waverly chalk paint in moss green. I just really think it's such a stunning color, and I'm just going to be spray painting it. I just did the front and the back side later on once the front was dry, and this is actually really simple. I spray painted it, waited for it to dry, and then I'm be using this windmill. I've used this in a few different DIYs and kind of tear it apart. I never have a favorite of what I like, but I picked this up at Hobby Lobby, and I want to say it was actually a Christmas ornament for, I want to say $2 or $3.99. I'm sure it was on sale. But yeah, just going to be adding it to the center, took the hot glue off, and there we have it. Just a fun little sign. Next one, I'm just going to be using this breadboard. I want to say this was $12.99, and then I had a 20% off coupon, and I'm just using this classic gray stain. This is by Minwax. It is one of my absolute favorites to use, and I've always wanted one of these little breadboards to put candles on or decor, and I always look at Hobby Lobby, and even with a 40% off coupon, I feel like they're still like $20-some, and it is just not the price that I wanted to pay. So $12.99 with a 20% coupon, it was definitely still a little pricey, but I mean, look at this. How stinking cute. I got it for like $10. I think that's a steal, and I can decorate it however I want. Has a ton of blanks, and I had to take some pictures for you guys to see. So this one I grabbed was $7.99, and I had this H&M and E. They do sell things like this at Michael's as well, but I had these on hand. These were from Walmart, but I'm sure they're a little bit cheaper, like I said, when you can use a coupon at Michael's. I'm just using the Waverly chalk paint in white to paint the H, the M, and the E. The letters were dry, I did just hot glue them right to this sign. I did want this up and down, and then I realized that my letters were way too big. Like I said, I already had the letters, so I just did what was going to work. And then I just ended up making a little homemade wreath for the O. I really kind of wanted to use a farm animal of some sort, but you know, you use what you have, I suppose. And then I'm just using boxwood greenery. This is from Walmart. I have a ton of this just ripped apart when I make crafts, and then sometimes I tear things apart, and then I save probably more than I'd like to tell anybody. I save a lot. Like any little greenery piece like this, I save it. I have baggies. I have a bin full. You just never know when you're going to need it. And that is all I did to this. I did kind of tweak the O a few times just because it didn't look the way I wanted. I kind of trimmed the boxwood down. But yeah, I love this little home sign. I feel like I haven't just made a home sign in such a long time. And I just really enjoy these pieces. Sign was $9.99, and then like I said, 20% off coupon. I will try not to say that again, but I love this piece. I love when they have those little hanging wood beads on there. And I started to paint this white, and then I realized you can actually take the inside out, because I'm like, I'm getting this all over the edge. I want to stain the wood frame. But this was even more like such a genius idea for whoever decided to make this wood piece, because you can actually paint the back of this and not get it all over the sign or have to tape it up. So I really liked this one a lot, specifically because of that. And once again, I'm using that classic gray stain by Minwax. And you know, the fun thing about stain is you can use this for so many projects. I've never gone through an entire can of stain unless it was those like really, really tiny ones that I use for a large piece of furniture. But honestly, I don't know if I'm ever going to go through this. Does stain go bad? Like, how long does it take? I have no idea. I just kind of started using stain maybe towards the end of last year. I was never like a huge fan of it, but now I don't know why I never used it before. And I'm just using a little sponge brush. This transfer actually came from Michaels as well. It was $9.99 for this large one. And someone did tell me they are discontinuing these. So run to your Michaels, as I need to mine, to see if there's any on clearance. So for some reason, I was not paying attention and my battery died. So you did not see me do the Farmhouse transfer, but I just used velvet chalk paste. I always use a chalk paste by Chalk Couture. I don't think I've ever seen chalk paste anywhere else unless you want to purchase it on Amazon. I've never used it, so I can't tell if it is good or not. But I just decided to use these little greenery. I'm never sure what to call these. This also came from that little transfer packet from Michaels, and I'm just using the Chalk Couture chalk paste in the color Eucalyptus. It's one of my favorite Farmhouse colors to use. This is what that sign looks like when it is done. I love these transfers. I highly recommend it. They are by Folk Art, so if you can find them, pick them up. You will love using them. Grab these from Michaels. These were $4.99 and they were by the checkout lane at my Michaels. So you guys, I love using Chalk Couture. I truly, truly do. I think it makes my signs look super high end and pretty and beautiful, and I just really like the way they look in my home. But I know that the price range is not for everybody. So I always try to find different options for everybody to still be able to use the same items that I do, but maybe just more on a budget. And these remind me so much of the Chalk Couture transfers. So this little packet does not come with the paste. It just comes with a surface for you along with this transfer. I ended up not even using that Choose Happy one. I loved this Home Sweet Home transfer, so I actually used it on both of these surfaces. So I love this black one. I plan to put this one in a tiered tray once my Easter decor is gone. I have nowhere to put it right now, but I love the way this one turned out along with that little brown wooden surface as well. And obviously I was out of camera. I wasn't paying attention. I was just really like, let's get this done. Like, let's see how this works. Let's see how good it is. And so yeah, I was paying too much attention to me and not enough to actually filming. And then I'm just putting this other little piece on the bottom and the top, and there we have it. These are kind of cool because they also have little hooks, so if you do want to hang them on your walls, you absolutely could. It's a wood piece. I want to say this was also $3.99, and I am going back in with my classic gray Minwax stain, and it doesn't look gray when you start to use it, and then once it dries, it just looks completely different than I feel like that what it should look like. And it always turns out different on every single piece, just because it probably just depends on what stain you use. I want to say this is classic gray. I truly do. Now I'm kind of questioning. Nope, it is definitely. See, it dries so different. So now I'm just using those half wood beads. These are from Amazon. I absolutely love using these, and I will link those for you guys if you want to check them out. But I think they just bring such high end, like a finish to any sort of sign. Transfer right here is also one of those folk art transfers by Folk Art. folk art transfers. They're called mesh screen stencils or mesh stencils when you try to find them on the web. Like I said, someone did say they were going to be discontinued, so run as fast as you can. I'm just using the bright white chalk paste, and I just love the finish of this. I did not stain the wood beads, and some of them did have a few little gaps because the half wood beads did not fit perfect on here, but overall, I think this is such a fun rustic sign. Okay, so onto this sign. This is actually from Hobby Lobby. It's $12.99. This is my Hobby Lobby, yeah, I guess this is the end of the video. I had a couple Hobby Lobby DIYs that I was just going to delete and not even use, but I thought, why not throw it in with Michael's? So the sign was $12.99 and 40% off, and these little wood pieces were $1.99 or $1.49. Super inexpensive. I think these would look really great if you stuck them on furniture. So right here, I'm just going to be using a chalk couture transfer. I just love this one. It says happiness, and it's the whole definition. I think this is such a cute one. And then I'm just going to use my black velvet chalk paste for this. And then once that dried, I just ended up gluing those wood pieces to the top and bottom of this transfer. And that is all I did for this sign. I love these wood pieces, and I feel like I need to run out to Hobby Lobby and purchase more for future signs. Last DIY, I'm going to be using these number chipboard numbers, and some hooks from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to be painting these little chipboard numbers with the Waverly chalk paint in white, and I really love these. They were only 32 cents, and yes, you could probably get wood pieces, but for 32 cents for these, it was such a great deal. This project right here cost me just over $4. I'm using a sign my mom gave me. She's had this on her wall for years. So I decided to sand it down, and I'm staining it with the Minwax. It is called Jacobine is the stain color. And I know this is an MDF board. It's not real wood. So this was kind of soaking in, but it was actually the perfect color, and it was exactly what I was looking for. So I wasn't too worried about it being not real wood, because it ends up looking so good in the end. So I did have some issues because I sanded it down too much, like I said, MDF board, but I am just going to be dry brushing it. I'm using a chip brush. This is from Dixie Belle, but you can, I think, pick up any kind of chip brush that you want. Dry brushing it with just a little bit of chalk paint in the Waverly white chalk paint. Now I just rested my numbers there along with the hooks just to make sure they are where I wanted. And then I just took my Ryobi drill and just put these little screws right in there. I love the way this turned out. And 32 cents for the numbers, $1 for these hooks. I actually picked these up a long time ago for the Dollar Tree, went to $1.25. And I'm obsessed. I love these. I did something similar to this with something, same hooks, different hanger, but overall, I love this. I love how it turned out, and I really like finding items on the clearance rack at Hobby Lobby. It's such a hit or miss when you go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but when you find clearance, I get so excited. I'm sure you guys all do too. Guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, consider sticking around and subscribing. I hope you guys enjoyed this Michael's video, along with a few little fun Hobby Lobby DIYs in the end. But that is it, you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye!